Hello guys! Today I'm gonna show what are the exceptions in Java, how to use them, how to take profit of them, and how to create custom exceptions. You can follow the video with the same project which is available on GitHub. You have a link in the video's description to download it. An exception is usually shown when something goes wrong, when I'm accessing null variables, when I'm opening missing files, when I'm casting incorrectly classes or more. When I see an exception in my application, I have two options: surround it with a try-catch or correct the source problem. Let's see the try-catch. Files.lines wants me that I must surround it with a try-catch block. This means that I must be aware that the file doesn't exist and have a workaround solution. In the try block, I will put all the statements I need. In the catch definition, I indicate which exception I'm trying to avoid, and put in the catch block the workaround solution. In this case, I've only printed some information about the exception. Here is the printed exception. With this content, I may know which line of code isn't working correctly. Let's see now another exception, an old way to read a file which is very interesting. I won't enter into the details of each line. I will make another video about reading files. But there are multiple points here very interesting. The first one, I can have multiple catch definitions. If I need different workaround solutions for each exception, I can have multiple catch definitions. But if I have the same workaround, I can only have one catch block. I can chain exceptions with the pipe symbol. I get an error because FileNotFound exception is a subclass of IO exception, so only IO exception is needed. Another interesting thing here is the finally block. The finally block is a block that will be executed if no exception is thrown, or if some exception is thrown. It will be executed if I go in the try block or if I go in the catch block. The meaning of the finally block is for actions that must be done always. In this case, if I open a file, I must ensure to close it, whatever happens. And one last point. I can see that my initial variable input stream is declared outside the try block, to be used in the finally block. But this can be slightly simplified with the try with resources. Defining the input stream inside the try, Java will call the close method for me in a finally block, so I can simplify the code even more. Okay, take a break and watch again the video from the beginning. That was a lot of information. I have the try block where I have my code. I have the catch block where I indicate which exception to catch and the workaround solution. I have the finally block, which will be executed no matter what happens. And I have the try with resources, where the variables which are defined there will be closed by Java. Until now, I've shown how to catch exceptions, but there are different kinds of exceptions. The exceptions can be split mainly in two groups, the checked exceptions and the runtime exceptions. The checked exceptions are those seen until now, file not found, IO exception, and more. For those exceptions, I need explicitly a try-catch clause. Otherwise, Java won't compile. Nevertheless, I can propagate the exception. This means that I will surround it with a try, but later I can define my method to indicate that I may throw a checked exception. This way, whoever uses this method needs to surround it with a try-catch block. This way, inside this method, I don't care about the exception. It will be propagated to other methods. Nevertheless, this can be problematic, as I don't close resources here, as I don't have the finally block. If you want to practice with this kind of exception, you have some assignments in this class. When done, you can run some tests as follow to check if everything is good. The other kind of exception is the runtime exceptions. Those exceptions are silent. With those exceptions, Java doesn't force me to use a try-catch block. With this example, I will get a null pointer exception. Why? The variable s is null and I'm using a string method to uppercase on a null value. This exception is silent as I need to analyze the code to know what's the problem. Java can't analyze the code this way, but I can also surround it with a try-catch block as before. Those exceptions have the same behavior. Finally, the custom exceptions. In personal applications, the best kind of exception to be used is the runtime exception. Throwing an exception in a personal application is just telling something goes wrong. I don't want to surround it with a try-catch. Having my own exception allows me to pass some technical information inside the exception that can be used when printing the exception or catching it later. I must extend my class to Runtime Exception. Then I can have whatever variables I want inside the class. And to use it, here are more exercises if you want to practice with the runtime exception and run the tests as before to validate the code. When done, you can check the answers in another link in the video's description. Now, click on the thumbs up and see you in the next video. Bye!